Can't tell if I like this shirt or if I look like a pirate. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How's your week been? You know, it is time for another monthly reading wrap up. Now, just like I said with January, February was not that great of a reading month for me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to go like into a little mood reading like time to like really get myself like into reading, because I only read 5 books this month, which for me is like not that many, because normally like in a good month I would read like at least 2 books a week. So the fact that in January I only read 6 and in February I only read 5 books, that's like not really that great for me. But yeah, let's get into the books that I did read. The first book that I finished in February was Legendary, the second book in the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. And this one, I really enjoyed reading this one. Now, I loved reading Caraval, but this one hit different. This one follows a different character than Caraval does, and I like this character better than Scarlet. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But I really loved this book, and in this book we get to meet a character. Yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book. It's a YA fantasy, which I love YA fantasies because you never have to worry about if you're going to turn a page and there's going to be something spicy in there. It definitely to me felt more high stakes than Caraval did, just like because of the things that are happening in this book. I feel like I can't really tell you anything about this book because it would be a spoiler for Caraval. I gave that one a 4.5 stars. The next book that I read in February was Finale, the final book in the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I mean, in some series, that's just how it's gonna go. You're going to end up liking the last book more than you liked the first book, just because you're more connected to the characters, you're more into the story, you're more invested in what's going on. Now, this one is dual POV, which I feel like you don't really get dual POV fantasy books all that much. Loved it. Felt like it was a really good like wrap up for this series. I gave it 5 stars. Then the next book that I read was Behind the Seams, My Life in Rhinestones by Dolly Parton, which is basically just like a memoir, a nonfiction book about like telling the story of like how her fashion has evolved, you know, since she is so known for wearing such elaborate outfits and like super sparkly spangly stuff. But it was fun to read, and it had a lot of pictures of a lot of like iconic outfits and like where she's read them, and a lot about the different people that she's had on her team, like working on her wigs, working on her makeup, designing her clothes for her, like how she met them, how she got started working with them, and like just how much she appreciates them. And it was just a really good read and really sweet, just really wholesome. Didn't give a rating though. Then the next book that I read was Powerless, which is the first book in the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. It's currently the only one that's out yet. I love this book. The tension and chemistry that Lauren Roberts was able to write between the 2 main characters while they are simultaneously fighting for their lives was immaculate. Incredible. Stunning, beautiful, loved it. And the quotes had me kicking my feet and just can't handle it. Like, oh my gosh. Yes. Will recommend to everyone who will listen. Now, before I read this, I had a friend who was reading it, so I asked her how it was and like, oh, should I read it? And she was like, it is basically Hunger Games with superpowers. I was like, okay, I'm still gonna read it. And like, I love dystopian fiction, so I have read quite a few books that were written like trying to piggyback off of Hunger Games success and like emulate that, and they've just been very bad attempts to recreate the Hunger Games. This one was not that. It was so good. I loved it. Love the vibes. Love the setting. Love the characters. She wrote such complex side characters that you got to see, like, that you fell in love with even with just like reading a couple of sentences about them. I cannot wait for her to release the other books in this trilogy and me to read them on release day. 5 stars. Yes. Then I read A Clockwork Angel, which is now tied for first place of books I regret reading. It just wasn't original, but it really was just like copy and paste City of Bones, change the characters and change the character names and the setting, and like, here you go, here's a new book. Like, there were so many super specific plot points that were exactly the same in Clockwork Angel as they were in City of Bones. And there was one character in particular that just made me want to gouge my eyeballs out every time she was on the page. Her name is Jessamine. She's an orphan. She lives in the Institute, which like takes care of orphan shadow hunters. She doesn't want to be a shadow hunter, and she's really mean about it to everybody. Like, super condescending, and just hates literally everything, and is very vocal about how much she despises everything that's going on in the shadow hunter world. It's like, okay, babe, like, you can hate that, like, okay, but like, you don't have to be so mean about it. She's not the only one who hates everybody. Like, all of the characters hate each other. Like, it's supposed to be found family? Like, no, I'm not even sure you guys can tolerate each other for that long. Like, how am I supposed to believe that this is like found family? And nothing about this book like made me want to read the second book. Like, despite the fact that we were given so many like open-ended plot points, and none of them, literally none of them, were resolved in this book, that doesn't even make me want to read the next one. 2 stars for that one. Anyways, that is all of the books that I read in February, which was not a lot. But March, I have a feeling, is going to be better because I'm going on spring break. And last year over spring break, I read 6 books in 6 days. So there's potential for that to happen again. And we're not going to be doing another Clockwork Angel situation where I spend a week and I have almost 2 weeks reading a book that I hate. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.